Have you ever had a crisis of faith? Maybe someone close to you died, or maybe a kid got sick, or a spouse let you down. Maybe there's a good new habit that you can't get to stick, or maybe there's a bad habit that you just can't break. And we start to lose faith. We lose faith in the world, we lose faith in people, and we lose faith in ourselves. The traditional view of faith as an organized practice should be a bridge that gets us from the everyday struggles of life to a place of peace and resolution. But faith can be abstract. It doesn't always offer such a well-defined path. Sometimes I don't know how to get from here to there. I don't even know where to put my left foot. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, from the Latin fides and the Old French fade, the word faith is the confidence and trust in a person, thing, or concept. In the religious context, the word faith can be defined as that confidence or trust in a particular system of religious belief. But faith does not exist solely in the religious context. So without faith, we would never fly on airplanes, we would never take medicine, we would never improve our diets, right? Without faith, we would never pay our bills online, and we would never tell our best friends our deepest secrets. Without faith, we would never make sacrifices for a greater good. We would never put ourselves in uncomfortable situations for something better down the road. So faith is indispensable. Now, I don't think that faith is synonymous with surety. Actually, I think faith is hope in the face of unsurety. And I don't think faith is just the belief that everything is going to be fine in the future. I think it's that. But I think in the present sense, it's the idea that everything is going to be fine right now. That right now, what I'm doing is okay and meaningful and worthwhile. So we impose boundaries on faith and limitations on ourselves in so many ways. We say things like, I don't understand that process, so how can I believe in it? Or, I'm not eligible to all kinds of successes. Or, people like me don't get to live lives like that. So faith has to be brought down to earth. It needs to be brought out of the realm of the ethereal and the theoretical and down to where we can all get our hands around it. My do-or-die moment with faith came as a young adult. I had begun repeating these behaviors that were becoming destructive. I was drinking to excess, I was spending to excess, I was dating to excess, and I made many resolutions time and time again that I was going to make different choices, better choices, but I just kept finding myself repeating this behavior again and again. And after a period of time, I realized that my behaviors, my patterns, my habits had created a monster. And I realized I couldn't get that genie back in the bottle. I came to see that I was powerless to change myself by myself. It's like trying to fix a broken tool with a broken tool. And that powerlessness hit me hard. And I tried everything. And nothing worked. Psychology had failed me. Medication had failed me. Self-help had failed me. Hyper-morality didn't work. I'm trying all these things, and I still feel alone and afraid and angry. But I can't stop doing the things that make me feel alone and afraid and angry. And I couldn't get off this treadmill. I was bound by something that had become bigger than me. And I was unable to escape it by my own unaided will. And then I met a group of guys that had a real solution because they understood the problem. They had been exactly where I had been and had somehow come out of it on the other side with lives of purpose and peace. And they had laughter, and they had camaraderie, and they had jobs. They had a solution. They had self-respect. And they had my attention. And what they told me was that self-reliance is not sufficient to solve all my problems. What they told me was I had to find reliance on something outside of myself. What they told me was I had to develop faith. Oh, and my heart broke. I think one of the biggest boundaries to faith is the religious context. Because when I heard the word faith, I thought religion. So I immediately assumed that I was going to have to subscribe to some organized, traditional view of faith as described in the media, or that I was going to have to believe what my grandmother believed. And my grandmother's a great lady, and she believes great things. But the idea of taking what I believe and putting it in someone else's box, that just didn't resonate with me. It would be like me trying to tell you what your favorite song is going to be. There's no truth in that. There's no heart in that. So I had to have faith, or I would never get off this treadmill. But I didn't have faith that I could get off this treadmill. So how do you see your way out of that? It's like when you go to the DMV and you need an ID to get an ID. It's hard to reconcile that idea. The idea of faith was so nebulous. I just couldn't get my mind around it. And then I remembered the internet. So for the first 20 years of my life, there was no internet. If you would have tried to explain to me what the internet was, I couldn't have understood. I mean, there's no way I could have grasped the depth and significance of the World Wide Web. How could I? There was no frame of reference. There was nothing like it. I mean, it belongs to all of us, but nobody owns it. It's everywhere, but it's nowhere. It's completely intangible, but yet it has a definite and concrete presence in our lives. It holds all the information that ever was. It connects all of us. And a lot of us will use it to disconnect, and a lot of us will use it to prey on others. But just by virtue of being a thing, the internet creates commonality and equal opportunity to everyone who uses it. And that's what I'd been missing. That's why I couldn't affect change. I was offline. My soul couldn't connect, couldn't log in to the internet of the Spirit. Because isn't that what faith is? Isn't faith just accessing something that's everywhere and nowhere and holds all the information in the universe? And it doesn't guarantee that I'm going to interpret that information correctly. It doesn't guarantee that I'm going to apply it perfectly, but it will provide an answer to every question. It will connect me in ways that I didn't even know I wasn't connected. And some of us will use it to disconnect. And some of us will use it to prey on others. But it's not good, it's not bad, it just is. And it doesn't care if I understand it or believe in it. It's free, it's everywhere, and we're all invited. Here's the thing. Google is not the internet. And church is not God. And Yahoo is not the internet. And religion is not faith. These are access points. These are wonderful resources, but they do not have a monopoly on how to navigate the net. They're just access points. And a lot of people get exactly what they need by using them, but they do not define or contain or own the internet. So this talk isn't about God or about the internet. It's about acknowledging my limitations and relying on a purpose, a power, a resource outside of myself. It's about accessing something that I probably don't understand and something that I really can't define. And so my path to getting off of that treadmill was not an easy one. The actions required were extremely uncomfortable, and in a lot of instances didn't seem to make any sense. I didn't have faith that those individual actions would get me freedom, but I was willing to make a leap of faith in the process. I'd seen it work for other people, And I thought, maybe it'll work for me. If I do what they did, maybe I can get what they have. So for me, faith came from the process as a whole. So how do you do it? How do you get off your treadmill? How do you break the boundaries of traditional belief concepts and organize patterns of faith and define your own path to freedom? It's my experience that processes produce faith. Did I have faith that those guys were going to provide me with a solution that would give me a sense of purpose, a sense of freedom? Nah, not really. But I took the actions one at a time as they were laid out for me, and it did yield those results. From that process, faith was produced. So how do we do it? I've got one slide right here. Boom. Processes produce faith. It's the ritual, the action, the steps. Spiritual is 2/3 ritual. And I don't mean holy ritual, I just mean taking the prescribed action. If I take the action, I will get the results. Did I have faith that I would ever get the job that I wanted? No, but I sent in my resume, and then I showed up to the interview, and then I showed up to the second interview, and then I showed up to my first day. Did I have faith that I would ever get a college degree? No, not with my scholastic history. But I just filled out the paperwork, and then I showed up to class, and I did the homework for as many years as it took. Processes produce faith. Action is my ritual. If I take the prescribed action, I will get where I'm going. And it doesn't matter if I believe that I'll get where I'm going. It just matters that I take the next step. It just matters that I put one foot in front of the other. And I will get there. If we just have faith, regardless of our difficulties or our differences, if we just trust in the process, put one foot in front of the other, we will get free. And I got to tell you, today I'm off the treadmill. Today I am free. And I don't know that I deserve to be free or that I'm entitled to freedom. I just know that I took the action that gave me faith, and I am eligible to be free. And I got to tell you, I don't know that we deserve anything. I don't know that we're entitled to anything. But I believe we are all eligible for everything. If we do the work, we'll get the faith, and then we'll all get free. Thank you.